So, how is everybody doing today? Justin, how are you?
I am doing good. Today has been a very long day. Um, but I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Derek, how are you?
I'm blessed to the Lord and highly flavored. Every last flavor. I got more flavors from the Lord than Baskin Robin got flavors in the restaurant. Come on, somebody, touch your neighbor on today. Touch your neighbor on today and tell them, I'm flavored of the Lord. I am flavored of the Lord. Come on, give God a praise right where you are right now. You are coming out. This is not the end of your story, but yet it is the beginning. I see. I'm speaking to somebody's life right now. I'm speaking to somebody's life right now. On the 15th and the 30th, you will see an increase in your account right now. Right now, mark my word. I said on the 15th and or the 30th, you will see an increase. Somebody look at your neighbor, say increase. You will see an increase right now from the Lord. Amen and amen.
Why you sound like a Jamaican, one of those Jamaican deacons?
Yo, I can't with Derek today. He is very much so awake today, y'all. So,
Yes, he
um,
is.
it ain't even a reason for introduction because Derek undid what he needed to do. Thank you, Derek, for the prayer. And on that note, I do apologize that we were running a tad late today due to some unexpected difficulties.
We didn't have any technical difficulty. I was late. My bad. My fault. I was late. I shouldn't have left when I left, but it's not about what time you leave. It's about what time you get here. Touch your neighbor and say, it's not about when you leave. It's about when you arrive. Come on, somebody. Tell the
Just
Lord
like I
thank you.
said, it was an unexpected difficulty.
Trying to be good. I'm trying to be good, but it's hard. It's getting hard for me not to follow up. But I'm trying to be
Listen,
good.
y'all too don't make the mother come out, okay?
Hey, come on, somebody.
Don't make the mother come out. Don't make Mama Kyra come out.
Oh man, this guy is
Now
crazy.
today's Eric. All right,
If
y'all.
not today, look at your neighbor and say, if not today, then when?
Oh my God.
I can't with him. I can't do it. Um, anyway, tonight it's more or less we piggybacking off of last week's conversation, which was the emasculation of men. Tonight's topic is about domestic violence. Men are victims too. And of course, this all is arising from the fact that everybody is if you haven't seen it or followed it, but it, like I said, it comes from Johnny Depp's defamation case against his ex-wife that she said she was a survivor of domestic violence. And then long and behold, Johnny Depp was the one that was actually
getting his ass beat. It's not funny, but it's funny.
Being abused by his wife, to a very, very bad extent at that. But it is what it is, and it's what it do. So that's what we're gonna be talking about tonight. We are going to be talking about domestic violence and against men and why it is the unspoken, why men don't speak up when they are being abused. Now, personally, me, I got two sons, and ain't nobody hitting my boys. My kids have been instructed. If a woman hits you, I don't condone violence, but
here we go.
If a person hits you and you can't walk away from that particular female that is putting her hands on you, Sometimes you have to use a little bit of force. I call self-defense to let her know to back the hell up. Sometimes you got to calm somebody down, and sometimes a hit is what's going to calm them down because you're not going to be beaten up on my child. Keep your damn hands to yourself, and then you won't have to worry about nobody else putting hands on you. But in the world that we live in, and from the research that I was doing, there are a lot of women that just have that tendency to abuse their man. And from the statistics, it is mostly in the Black community. I wonder why.
Cause y'all angry as I don't know what.
No comment.
There y'all go with the angry Black woman.
How you say there y'all go? I just said no comment.
What? Ever. Now, going through the statistics, they don't really call it domestic violence when it comes to men. They call it intimate partner violence. And basically, it's about 40% of men overall, 40% of men that are victims of domestic violence by women. So that's kind of like a big number. And they say every 14 seconds, a man is being abused by a woman.
I find it interesting. I find it interesting. Obviously, we know there's a stigma with men. Men have to be the one that's mature. They have to take they have to take their licks and just keep it moving and man up. But it's true. You know, men do deal with women that have a tendency to put their hands on them. But I don't know how to put it lightly. I'm just like of the persuasion that like if you can't keep your hands to yourself, then you need to just move on and be away from get away from that person. But it's it's true, it's real. I do think the statistic, I think it's more actually. The statistics that you just provided us, I think that there's more. It's just that men kind of suffer in silence.
Unreported.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
they're
men just
just
don't
saying
report it
those.
because they don't want to be looked at weak or But it's not a laughing matter. It's not a joking thing. Coming from either side of the spectrum, because if a woman was on the receiving end of abuse, we wouldn't be laughing about it. But it's just one of those situations where there's a double standard, because if a man came out and said, hey, look, my wife or my significant other is beating on me, the first thing that another man is going to do is look at him and start laughing like, nigga, get your shit together, man up, stop letting her beat your ass, like stop acting like a punk. But it's deeper than that, there's levels to it. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They were saying that it's only 40% of men reporting.
Yes.
But they do believe that it is more. It's just that they're not reporting it.
Report, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because of what you just said, because it's a shameful thing that men are supposed to be the strong
macho,
person.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're not supposed to really, like, how is a woman beating up a grown man?
Mm-hmm.
Type of thing. And just like I was telling Derek, earlier today, I saw I was actually doing research, whatever, and I came across a story by a guy named Derek. His name is Derek New Kirkland, and he was killed by his partner, and he was a domestic violence due to domestic violence. And apparently, she tried to run him over with her car, and then when she was unsuccessful with running him over with her car, she stabbed him to death. And the mother is trying to get justice right now for her son.
Damn. Damn, that's crazy. And see, that's why even with like domestic violence, and I don't want to make this like a sexist thing, right? But there's reasons why, like, I tend to stay away from situations like that. Because it might start off small, but it definitely can grow into something that becomes detrimental to both parties. Especially with women, because a woman might feel comfortable and have that thought process like, I'm a girl, he's not gonna hit me because I'm a lady, blah blah blah. And then you know what? After a while, the man might have enough and really forget where he at and lay her out, all because of the physical interaction. You never know how much a person can take, you know? So when you have situations like that, it's always best to kind of just like move away, like get away from that situation and just I mean, if you can't talk to me about, what's not what you might if you can't voice your opinions, if you can't tell me how you feeling, if you can't like verbalize what's going on and you have to resort to putting your hands on me, something ain't right. I just gotta get myself out of that equation.
Definitely. I don't think that anybody should be hitting anybody. I don't think any woman should be hitting on any man.
True.
And no, I mean, and that's just that. But I do know as a woman when sometimes when I have hit a man before. Um, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm innocent. But I have in the heat of a argument, I have maybe smacked, punched, or a dude before. Um, but it's all out of rage. So did it make it right? Absolutely not.
Hey,
I'm
real
not
talk
gonna
though,
say
that take a lot. That take a lot for someone to openly admit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you a man beater by any stretch of the imagination, but for you to even come out and admit, hey, look, man, I got mad once, and I popped my man one good time or whatever. That's respectable. I mean, at least you were able to be mature enough to identify that what you did was wrong, and you say you was pissed off about it. So, I mean, we all human.
it's no
Nobody's
really,
perfect.
yeah, like it's not an excuse. And I always say
Yeah,
I
yeah, no,
shouldn't have
no.
did
I'm
it.
just commending on you being mature enough to even admit it, because a lot of people wouldn't even be able to admit it. They wouldn't be able to identify that. Hey, look, man, in that situation, even though I was pissed off, I put my hands on somebody that I shouldn't have, and that was wrong. A lot of people can't even do that.
I know I apologize for it later, but in that heat of the moment, you sometimes don't real you it's just a heat of the moment type thing, and you just lay hands. It happens. Is it right?
Mhm.
No. So, that's why me being a grown ass woman, I know that I have anger issues. So I go get help for my anger issues. So it doesn't reoccur. Where some women, they just feel like, guess what? I don't care. I'm gonna do what I do. And if it consists of me popping him upside his head here and there, then so be it. Because he's not saying nothing about it. So I guess it's okay.
Right, 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 right. Um, I think I don't know, man. I just thank God that I've never been in a situation to where I had to lay hands on a female, regardless of whatever the situation may have been. I grew up in a single mom household, and my mom is like you. She'll put the paws on you, but I just always felt like, you know what? If I can't use my words, or I think it's just best for me to just remove myself from the situation, because we live in a society like, look at the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp situation, right? She wrote an open editorial. She never called in like the police or anything like that. She wrote an open editorial, and all of this shit just came out, and automatically the what do you call that? The court of public opinion went immediately after Johnny Depp. No one knew the real facts. No one knew what was going on, and he lost out on opportunities for employment and stuff like that. Now let's put it into like people like you and me. You call the cops. We in a relationship. You call the cops. Whoever called the cops first, that's their ass. And 9 times out of 10, the cops don't want to hear a damn thing that men got to say.
Never call the cops first.
That's your ass.
Other ones go
If
to
you
jail.
if you if the cops come there and see you in distress and me trying to plead my case, I'm gonna be in the back of the police car looking stupid. And a lot of people, statistically speaking, a lot of people, women, know that that's gonna happen, and some of them do weaponize.
Absolutely.
So it's really a
Because it's going to
slippery slope.
always be a person isn't going to believe that I'm beating up on this big grown man.
Exactly. Yup.
It's not believable.
Yup. And even in situations like that, man, I mean, it's crazy, but when you got to see the signs before you get like too deep into it, where your ass is just caught up, and and the cops, before you even get to that level, you got to see the signs, man. If you guys see that you having arguments and you can't diffuse the situation with your words, or if people start throwing stuff and slamming stuff around, I mean, it's a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
People, once you start throwing stuff, people start to get comfortable doing stuff like that, and then next thing you know, the situation escalates, and then it escalates to the physical altercations. I'm just like this. If we can't, I don't want to hit you. You shouldn't want to hit me. And if we got to go there, then we shouldn't even be with each other. The physical stuff is a no-no. Like, it's just, for me, I think I have way more to lose than to sit around and allow women to beat my ass, because if I sit there and let it happen, I know how I am. If I sit there and let it happen, I'm gonna get mad. If I get mad, I'm gonna forget exactly what the hell is going on. I might forget, where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Because that stuff tends to build up. We're all human, so it's just a matter of just being smart and just understanding what you can accept and what you absolutely won't accept. And
Just
unfortunately,
to
people.
answer, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna tell, just to answer Candy. Hi, Candy Renee. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. Appreciate you, girl. Just to just to answer her, we know that she was hitting him. And that's what Justin was saying. He was saying that Amber Heard was abusing Johnny Depp in ways that was crazy.
And
Because she was
she even
cutting
went as
off.
far to shit in his bed. Who does that?
Yeah, she shitted in his bed. She cut off his finger with a vodka bottle. Um, she did a lot of things to him. And it was even her, like if you even listen to her the tapes, the recordings of her yelling at him and telling him, like, go ahead, tell the world that that you're being abused. Like, who's gonna believe you? And you look at her, she's this little petite little woman, and you compare it to Johnny Depp, it's like, like seriously, who's really gonna believe you?
Mm-hmm.
So it's things like that that deter people from coming forward to say, I'm getting beat up by my girlfriend or my wife.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And see that attitude right there is exactly what I was talking about. You a big guy. I'm this little petite woman. Who's gonna believe anything you say about me beating on you?
Yeah. And
And
they're
and
public figures. So they're celebrities.
exactly.
So
So look at
compared to just a
average
little regular
Joe.
person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she over here shitting in beds. That's mental. That's
That's
mental
nasty.
abuse right there. That's trifling.
That's
We ain't
nasty.
really gonna say what that is. That's some WG
That's
shit, but WP shit. But like for real, that's mental abuse too.
Yeah.
You know,
But
that
men get
all.
mentally, physically, and sexually abused.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And,
mean, people,
and it's pushed under the rug.
yeah, it is pushed under the rug because, like I said, I was reading them statistics, and it's very interesting to see that men actually reported that they were sexually abused by their significant others.
Mm.
Um, as far as and that was shocking. I could
I
see
could
the
imagine.
physical, I could see the physical and the emotional, but the
Yeah,
sexual, I
once
was
you
like
and
crazy.
all that stuff, right? We talking about these three areas of abuse: mental, physical, and sexual, right? All these areas, if you have an individual that's going through these things, you have to understand, especially a man, they just there's no way, they really don't feel like there's anyone they can talk to, because
Mm-hmm.
for fear of being ridiculed, for fear of being told that they're less of a man, for fear of being, you know, for fear of being um misjudged, prejudice about their sexuality too. They just hold on to this stuff, you know, that can cause a lot of issues, mental illness, and I mean even suicide. A lot of men feel like they can't handle those stressors, and sometimes you run into the situation where it's the worst end of the spectrum, where they taking their own life because they don't have that they don't have that release. They don't have that avenue that they can take. They don't have that trusted person that they know that they can talk to without being, talked about, or without being ridiculed about what's going on. And that is really the crux of why men generally don't speak about their issues, or why men feel that being emotional is is girly or less than masculine, when it's actually the complete opposite. So yeah.
Exactly. And I'm just gonna read this little quick skit from some stuff that I did look up um about men with domestic violence. And they say in the early relationship, your partner might seem attentive, generous, and protective in ways that later turn out to be controlling and frightening if he was a victim of domestic violence. The ways
Mm-hmm.
to tell whether or not your partner or the male partner has been is experiencing domestic violence and he's not recognizing that it's domestic violence is if the woman is calling you names, insults you, or puts you down, prevents you from going to work, stops you from seeing your family members or friends, tries to control how you spend your money, where you go, and what you are wearing. Acts jealous or possessive, or constantly accuses you of being unfaithful, threatens you with violence or weapon, hits, shoves, slaps, choke, or otherwise hurt you in any shape, way, or form, forces you to have sex with them against your will, and blames you for their violent behavior and tells you that you deserve it. You, my friends, are being abused. If any of these things occur in your relationship with your female partner, then you're being abused by your female partner.
Hmm.
And for some people, they think that's supposed to be normal in a relationship. And it's not. It's very toxic. So those are your kickers if you didn't know that you were being abused or you felt like you were being abused, but don't want to really admit that you're being abused, that is not normal behavior. And you need to make a decision. And Derek, you've been very quiet over there in the corner. What's your thought?
Because real life, he's not the only one um, that we've seen this happen to. Like Johnny Depp is not the only one. Like recently, like for people who some people say people we care about or we know of, like what Rob Kardashian, like him and Black China was going through the same thing where she was.
They just won their case.
Right. They just won in court over it because people have reported cases of his abuse and her abusing him, and I think his mother's ex-boyfriend even like one of the most damaging was when the mother's ex-boyfriend reported how he testified how he came into the house and saw Rob holding his face and China holding a metal pipe, and had him backed up against the corner. So it's all fun and games until a man puts his hand on a woman. But women for some reason can do the same, and we're the ones that look like we're weak or we're the weaker sex. But what is the other option? What is the other option to do when you are being abused? Is there another option? Like I know for me, I'm blessed. So I got sisters. So you put your hands on me, you got about 4 other people that you gonna have to put your hands on, who don't play when it comes to me. Like so, I know that I got sisters and I got a cat. So like, yeah. Like I don't know if this is the route you want to go down. I don't know if you want to. Is this what you want to do with your life? I don't think you want to do this at all. Like, but for people who don't have a cat, who don't have sisters, what are their options? Because you're damned if you do. It's a situation of you being damned if you do, and a situation of you being damned if you don't. Because if I'm sitting here and I'm being attacked and I'm being smacked and I'm being like Johnny Depp lost a whole finger. Like you lose a finger. Like, does that constitute me punching you in your mouth? Like, will you still judge me now? Like, would the world judge me because I knocked 3 teeth out your mouth because you cut my finger off? Like you dismembered me. I'm now a part of the paraplegic community because of your abuse.
He got his finger fixed.
But if he would have, everything, this man's whole career would have been done. It would have been a wrap. There has to be a better way. There needs to be a level playing ground where women are not able to use their femininity to get away with murder. Literally.
But I think that it is recognized because they are reporting it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have statistics. It's just that a lot of people are not reporting it. And if you need help, I feel like this. If you can't go to one of your friends and be like, listen, chick over here is whooping my ass, and your friends can't be supportive to you because you a man, then that's a problem too.
Yeah.
You can leave, that's an option. Davida says you can leave, that's an option. And right, you can leave sometimes.
He couldn't even leave. You can't say you can leave because Rob was trying to leave out of his own house and she was swinging a pipe at him to stop him from leaving. The dude
that's why I said sometimes you can.
The dude that Kat was talking about earlier, he left and she tried to run him over with a car. Him leaving that house ultimately ended my man losing his life.
What's his dad?
Wow.
What's his dad?
So
he ran out the house. But nobody wanted to, and the reason why his mother is fighting for justice for her son is because nobody wanted to talk about it. Even though the neighbors saw this woman get into a car and try to run his poor boy over, Like I said, she wasn't successful at it. He did leave. Eventually, he did leave, but he went back to his home to get belongings to let her have her cooling time, and she stabbed him to death.
That's just
So,
disgusting.
hey, cousin.
No,
So, um,
he came back because he loved her, and he wanted, and it wasn't because he was trying to give her cooling time. He came back because he loved her, and that's the problem we make as
sometimes you
men
gotta let
all
them
the
cool
time.
off.
No,
I'm not sleeping in the bed with a woman that just tried to run me
but
over.
that's why he came back. He came back because he loved her. It wasn't even about him getting clothes because he could get clothes from anywhere. He could go to his mother's house and get
Well,
clothes.
I'm just going by what the story says that he went back to the house to get clothing.
Yeah, nobody knows why he
And
went back to the
she
house
really
because this
wasn't.
man is dead.
No,
Like,
she wasn't. The mother, the girlfriend wasn't supposed to be in the home. She was supposed to be at work. So when he went into the home, he was there. They argued, apparently argued, and she stabbed him to death. Um, and so she's saying it was self-defense.
Hmm. Yeah, that's wow. Okay.
And
There's so much I could say about that.
but everybody knew that this man was being abused by his woman, was being abused by this woman because it wasn't the first time she hit him in public.
Hmm. Yeah, there's so much I could
So,
say about that.
but he never went to the police, never got her arrested or anything like that. But people knew because they saw her abusing him in public. She didn't even hide it behind closed doors. So she was
why do
very
you have?
open with
There's
it.
no need for you to hide it behind closed doors when nobody does anything about it. So she was felt safety in the fact that her own community, because she knows nobody's going to report. She knows he's not going to report it because he's not going to look like a punk in front of all his friends and in front of the people that care about him. And she knows that the community is not, because the community is not going to take it seriously. You walk by a woman beating on a man, well, cat is different, but most people are just gonna look and shake their head like that is crazy. That is so messed up.
Hmm.
But nobody's gonna do anything.
Very,
But
you gotta stop.
if you walk by if you walk by a man beating a woman, everybody's gonna be up in arms. Everybody, you gonna have dudes getting out the car trying to kill this dude.
It's a double standard when it comes to men being abused by women compared to
A
a woman
huge
being
double
abused
standard.
by men. It is. It's a very big. It's a huge double standard.
The
Is it
period,
right?
the
No, I'm
life
not
is a
saying that
double
it's right. I
standard.
think
Life
that
is a
men.
double standard for men. Period. Life is a double standard, not just abuse. Everything, every aspect of life, there's a double standard from women, from men and women,
Right. Right.
and it's not all the time. All the time is that, and all the time it doesn't have to do anything with money. It's just period. Like, men are held to a different standard than women, and in those standards, men are the ones.
They are.
That we're the ones that get in the short. In some instances, we're the ones getting the short end of the stick because you automatically think, because we are men, that we can handle and take more. When reality is, if we're going to be real about it, women emotionally are stronger than men.
You think so?
Candace
Very
says a
much
lot of
so.
people. I don't.
Hmm.
We are.
No, I'm not saying
We
who's
are.
more emotional. I said women are emotionally stronger. Women can take more emotionally than men can take. If you really think, and look at Snapped. If you ever watch the show Snapped, you ever watch when a woman snaps? You know how much she had to go through before she snapped.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give it to you.
You know what,
Yeah, you're right.
Justin?
Huh?
Candace says a lot. Candy Renee says a lot of people in abusive relationships don't really see the red flags.
So,
That
sometimes
they're
people
with
don't want to see the
somebody.
red flags, though. Sometimes they can be so caught up in what's going on that they see the red flags, but they don't acknowledge them. They ignore them.
Yeah, we do. Everybody do that in a relationship or so.
because you
But
never think, you never honestly think it's going to get to the place it's gotten to,
Right,
and that's why it's not taken seriously. Because you're like
right.
everybody automatically think because men are so much stronger than women
that is true. Sometimes.
that
Sometimes,
women it's not going to
sometimes
get
you
too
know,
bad.
no. Sometimes you got some men out here who know they got a hot head and for a girlfriend. They all white. They know this because she unpopped you, she threw a knife at you, she did something to you that
She gonna
was
try to run
too
you over
over
with.
the
She
extreme.
gonna try to run you over, or her friend try to run you over with her car. Like they know.
Zara, you gonna go there? Seriously? You really gonna go there? Anyway, and some men honestly think it's cute. They be like, yeah, she a little hot temper, but I like it like that.
I
Well,
don't.
you could like it like that if you want to until she turn it around on you and your ass laying up in somebody's damn hospital because she stabbed you behind up or she punched you and gave you a black eye or knocked out a tooth, knocked out your teeth. Then
Listen,
it ain't so cute no
let me
more.
tell you. I am so past all this nonsense. Like I don't even want to. If you are argumentative, I don't even want to talk to you. Like at this point blank, like if you sound a certain way, like if I talk to you on the phone and your voice sounds a certain way, I don't want to talk to you because I'm like at this point in my life, I do not need any added stress, and I don't need to be in a place where there's always a constant argument or we're always constantly arguing about something because I understand that people in this day and time, they don't get it and they don't have any fear. Like these cats, a lot of these women out here, they're not scared to go to jail. And back in the day, you had to worry about them having cousins or brothers. Now you don't need to worry about that. Now you need to worry about them because they be I think I said it last week. I had a friend, one of my good close friends, told me like she be swinging on her dude, like she don't even care. She was like, I swing on him before he swing on me. I'm like, how do you even know he was going to swing on you? It didn't matter.
It's too much.
Women have become conditional now. They understand that if you keep pushing this man to a certain place, he's going to put his hands on me. So before he get a chance to put his hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands on him. If I hit him hard enough, he won't. It won't even be a chance for him to hit me. But some men
Yeah,
are not even like that. Some men are not even like that. Some men are not even beat to be putting their hands on you.
right, right.
Davida
Some men
says, I
just don't
just
even
don't
care
understand.
about that.
Davida says, I don't understand the domestic violence on either side. Violence towards your lover is just weird. It's weird and it's stupid.
Exactly,
It very
exactly. And
much
at the end
is.
of the day, do you really love somebody if you're willing to cause bodily harm to them, running them
That's
over
not
with a fucking car? I love you so much, I'm gonna kill you. How crazy do that sound?
the Bible said he who he loveth
You
he
got a couple
chastiseth.
of
What?
but when it gets to that point, like when you running people over and you stabbing people or you doing when it gets that point, that is no
It's
longer love. That
over.
is just either rage. That's rage or jealousy that's coming at you.
Right.
It's one or the other. And
There's
she ain't gonna stop.
Which
the other day there was a news article about a young lady who, well, she's not a young lady, she's an older lady, but she literally killed her husband, stabbed him in the heart, chest, stabbed him in the chest because he told her that he didn't like the taste of the coffee she made.
Oh, that yeah. See, and that's what I mean. People have limits. She reached her
Like
limit
even
with the
me, even watching some of these researching domestic violence against men, I was coming across some crazy stuff. Like, somebody sitting at the kitchen table, they eating dinner that the wife cooked, and he didn't say how good the food was. She took a big ass pot and cracked him upside the head with it. Um,
See?
stuff like that. It just don't make no sense. That is somebody that some women definitely need some type of help, some type of counseling if
right.
you're abusive. And it
Right.
doesn't have to always be physically. It could be the way that you speaking to somebody, the way you talking to them. If you constantly putting somebody down or putting that man down, emasculating him, as they want to say, um, that's a big problem too. And that's why some of these men is the way they is now, because they done had a damn woman beat them down so they honestly start believing it themselves.
Very much so.
Demon says now we have to do mental evaluations before we get involved with someone. Absolutely, we sure do, because ain't nobody trying to be with nobody that's a Fruit Loop. You're
Exactly.
not gonna be putting, and that's why that's why I said what I said earlier about my sons. You're not gonna put your hands on my kids. I don't give a damn how old they is. They could be 40 years old. Your wife, your girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, you will not put your hands on my son and don't think that my son is not going to defend himself.
Well, that's what I
Yes,
say.
he
That's
will.
what I say to everybody. I say that to everybody. Do not put your hands on somebody with the expectation that they will not put their hands back on you. If you can't verbalize, if you guys have a disagreement, you can't get that taken care of verbally, do not resort to putting your hands on somebody. If you do,
And that has to come
consequences.
from the first run. The first time someone puts their hands on you, raises their hands to you, speaking to you in a disrespectful manner that your own mama don't even talk to you in, that's the problem.
Right.
Right.
And you need to hear that's where you got to look at somebody and say, is this the person for me? Or I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna take it and let me see if it's gonna work itself out. Maybe she just was having a bad day. No, the first time she hits you will be the last time she should be putting her hands on you.
I guess. I don't know. We'll talk.
We ain't gonna wait you, because what are you waiting for? Once it's a smack upside the head, then the next minute she throwing a knife at you. The next minute she defacing your car and how you a dog and calling you all type of MFers. Like, when do it stop? She nice for a couple of months and now she bugging again. So if that's what you used to or that's what you want, then that's on you. And you can don't take that baggage with you to the next person, because we don't want it. Men and women often ignore the red flags. Absolutely. Shame out. You're absolutely right. Because everybody thinks they can change somebody. But my thing is, you got to believe who somebody is when they first introduce to you.
That's right.
Shima says, yep, been there, and his rage was going to cause me to go to jail, so I left. Hallelujahs. I always say I do not want to be a character in nobody jail cell. I do not look good in orange.
I'm saying, if Kat ended up in jail, we know that she earned it. we know if Kat ended up in jail, it wasn't by mistake. She did everything. She did everything possible to get there.
That is so not true. I don't know why Derek always thinks that I'm such a violent person. I'm not a violent person.
Because you choose violence. But most of
I choose violence.
Majority of the pretty ones, they always choose violence.
I choose violence when I have to choose violence.
You have never met you very rarely meet an ugly woman that chooses violence. You meet an ugly woman, they are the sweetest thing. They have the most patience. It's always these attractive ones. I'm pretty sure your whole family, because your family is a bunch of hot. They are top notch lookers. I bet you a majority of them.
That's right, Lashana.
I'm telling you, I can almost guarantee
watch out. I'm trying to tell you,
that whole David,
unbalanced species.
That whole family is violent. I can guarantee you. Davita, Ivory, Shallon, all of them. They is violent. The better you look, the more violent you are.
No,
I
that is
guarantee you. Show me a beautiful woman, and
that
I
is
I
not
guarantee
true.
you there's a level of violence to it. Thank you. See?
Whatever, Sean. Sean, let me tell you something. If we all violent, so are you. You part of the family, so.
Show me a beautiful.
But we
Show
don't
me a
go
beautiful
around
woman.
but we don't go around beating up our men, okay?
I don't know. Push them. You push them because
You know what, Derek? I'm gonna fight you. I am
if some
definitely gonna
if a
fight you.
man came forward, if a man came forward and say, I was dating Katiana and she punched me in my face, I would not be shocked.
Damn.
I'm just being honest. I would not be shocked. I'm like, my first question would be, my first reaction would be if somebody said, me and Katiana's been dating and she punched me in my face. My first reaction would be, what did you say?
What did you do?
That would be my first reaction. It won't be like, oh my God, not Kat. Oh, I'm like, dag, she hit you? What you do? You must have did something bad.
You need to piss her off.
But see, that's the thing. I said that earlier. I have in the past put hands on a man before. I ain't gonna sit there and I ain't gonna sit up here and deny and say that I had, because I had.
Kat has put hands on a man and does not care that she put hands on a man, and she dared him to put his hands back on her because after she beat this man's behind, she's gonna definitely have her cousins come and beat his behind too. and here we are back at the emasculation of men. Because what choice did he have? He had no choice. He had to get beat up by Kat, and then he had to sit there and let her beat him up, and then turn around and wait for the rest of her cousins, boys and girls, to come and finish the job off. Your only choice is just not date her. Just let her be. Leave her alone.
Y'all look crazy.
You know what?
Leave her be.
I'm not messing with you, Derek. I don't got nothing to say to you no more today, Derek. You're gonna try to play me out like I'm some crazy, violent ass woman that
You
go
see
around
Kat in the
beating up
wild,
our poor
just look at her majesty. Let her just roam free in the wild. Don't try to tame that wild beast. You're gonna get kicked in the chest.
And then you got my cousin up here co-signing with you. Whatever, Sean. I ain't messing with you. I can't, and I'm not. Back to the topic at hand. We
never left the topic at hand.
Back to the topic at hand. Now, when it comes to resources for men that have been victims of domestic violence, there are not a lot of resources that men can turn to as it is for women.
I got a resource.
What's your resource?
The resource is 987. Call your girl cousins. That number again is 987. Call your girl cousins. 987 CALLYOURCOUSINS. Call it today.
Shima says, I never put hands on a man, but I will throw something right at their head and say I did not touch him.
See, another violent. I told you. Let me go. Let me click on Shima picture. Let me find Shima. Wait, hold on. Let me get a better look.
Oh,
Shima
Jesus.
Easton. Let me find this woman. Give me 1 minute.
Shima shows violence too.
So technically, sometimes it happens. That's all I gotta say. Now, like I was saying, there's not a lot of
Boom. What I
it's not
tell
a
you,
lot of resources
yet
for
another attractive
men.
one. Yet another attractive. I told you, show me an attractive woman, and I'm gonna show you a woman that chooses violence.
You don't even know what the situation was.
Don't need one.
Anyway, so
Show me an
therefore,
attractive
due
woman.
to
I'm
the
gonna
fact
show
that
you a woman that
it's
chooses
a lack
violence every
of
time.
resources for men, what they say is for a man to reach out to law enforcement, turn to one of your friends or relatives. You can call the National Domestic Hotline, or
They ain't got
tell
no
your
place for
doctor.
you to go. You calling them for what? Just to report it. Just put it. So they ain't got no place for you to go.
Those are the resources. Those are the only resources that they have available for men that are going through domestic violence.
That have no place for you
And
to
like
go.
I said,
You just call them
they don't
down.
have as many resources as women do.
Right. Women got resources. Like I can make a phone call right now and be like, "Hey, I'm being abused, and I feel like my life in danger." They'll tell you to call the cops, and they'll hang up on you. Cat can make the same call, the same person, the same number, and says, "I'm being abused, and I fear my life." They will call the police for her. They will keep her on the line. They will send Blue Cross and Red Shield. They will get her They will get her a room at the Hilton with a masseuse, and then set her up in another apartment in a whole nother state with cash in her pocket, just so she can feel safe.
Oh, and they'll change her identity too.
Oh yeah, and they'll
Really?
pack up all her wigs for her.
Somebody needs to go get them. But we already know this. We already know that men don't have that much support when it comes to domestic violence. So because it's something that is really that heard of, and it's something that men don't come forward with. So you can't give resources or get help for something that people really don't know too much about. Which is why they tell men not to be fearful, not to be ashamed or embarrassed to come forward and say that they are victims of domestic violence.
Don't be shameful, but we ain't nothing we can do. Don't be ashamed of getting your ass kicked, but we ain't got nothing for you to do. We ain't got no help for you. That's why you need to just dial 987. Call your cousins, call your girl cousins, because every black man has a crazy cousin who got at least two crazy cousins who don't ask questions. You just call and they there and they just swing it.
Right.
And if you don't, inbox me. I will rent you my crazy cousins.
Shauna says he's better off calling the girls' cousins. Dudes calling the hotline. I know. It's not. Sean says there is an equality in resources as well. Men's suicides are up. Men have spoken up on verbal abuse. Johnny Depp is on trial right now for getting abused, and man who thinks it's funny and it's not. It's a lot of times I've seen when a man calls the cops on a woman and they'll talk it down. But when a woman calls the cops, the man goes to jail directly. It's inequality.
Right. And the only
Absolutely, it is.
majority of the time, the only time you see a woman go to jail when a man calls the cop is if that woman puts her hand on the man in front of the police officer. But if they are just having a verbal argument and he calls the cop, he'll be the one that's asked to vacate the premises and say, "Do you have someplace else to go overnight?" And then try to come back in the morning. She's never asked to leave the place. This could be my house. I paid the bills, but because me and you get into an altercation and I called the cops, I'm being asked to leave my house for at least 24 hours so that the situation can calm down.
Right. Yep. He ain't lying.
Candy Renee says that you shouldn't call family or friends because it's real situations. It puts other people at risk or harm or being arrested.
Nah, you call family because those are the only ones that's going to smack the taste out of her mouth. So
Well, Candy is my cousin, and
see,
like she
so
said,
she one of the ones that'll
we do
show
have
up.
a lot of cousins.
She'll
She'll
one of the
show
ones
up,
to show up.
but she's not a violent person like that.
She's still
So
swinging.
that's why she's saying that it's not. No, that's why she's saying it's not always good to call family, because now you're putting your family members at risk of getting hurt or being arrested for handling your business. Just call a domestic hotline. She's on the YouTube page. So
Oh, I couldn't find it. I was about to say.
she's on the YouTube page because I saw you looking. Mashana says, should the accent leave? And we already know, like how we spoke about earlier, we know that it is definitely an equality between men being abused versus women being abused. We are always more likely going to be looked at as the victim in any type of abuse, even if we was the ones that actually started it and hated them and all of that stuff. If the cops are called, he's going to be the one that got to go. They're going to be looking at him to be arrested, not her. And that could too be because he ain't saying nothing either. I'm just saying. I know for a fact that one of my cousins, got into an altercation with his girlfriend at one point, and they both went to jail because they both was fighting each other.
Right. And when the police drove up, they probably saw them still fighting.
No, he had bruises on him, and she had bruises on her. So they both got. They both went to jail that night.
So that's why we don't report it. That's why it's not reported. That's why it's not a thing.
It really. Men just have to. I just think if more men spoke up about it, there'll be more things done about it. If you don't speak up about it, then what can be done? Just continue to let the women get away with it because you're embarrassed. You say yeah. So if you was getting beat up by a woman, not saying that you would, Derek, but if you was getting beat up
by a woman because I got sisters, I got cousins, and I got a Katiana. Period.
I'm just saying hypothetical. I'm just saying in a hypothetical situation. Let's say you was getting beat up by your girlfriend or whatever. You wouldn't report it. You wouldn't say anything. You'll just let her keep hitting on you and not say a word to anybody.
No, I just told you I have sisters, I have cousins, and I got a cat. I don't need to worry. I don't need to report it. I'm already reported. It's already been reported. She's gonna report it.
Would you stay with her?
Huh?
Nope.
Would you stay with her?
No, she gotta go.
With the quickness. Bye. But you're gonna take this ass whooping too, though.
Candace says a woman just recently called her best friend for help. Then her abuser shot and killed her friend. So this is the reason why she's saying it's not always good to be calling your family members into your situation.
Right. I agree with that. But you need to know. You need to know. First of all, you need to know who that person that you need to know who the person you're dealing with is and what they're capable of. I laugh all the time when I hear people people get on the phone and call people to come over. Like, I'm calling my brother to beat your butt. I'm like, you don't even know me like that. Like, you don't even know what I can do. Like, your brother come over here and then I kick his behind. Then what? Am I gonna be on? Is this gonna be the Royal Rumble or something? Like, you gonna be calling people every 30 minutes to come over here and get beat up? Like, you need to know for a fact that this person can handle the hit person that you got coming over, because you're gonna look real dumb.
I don't believe I don't believe in putting people into situations either. Like if I have to, like it is very rare that you will see me call one of my boy cousins or my brother to come and handle a situation. Just like my
Because
brother,
you're
he's
already
been in
fighting,
situations where his
and
girlfriend's
the girl cousins are on their way.
I
I haven't
can't
heard much.
say I have gotten into fights. I have gotten into fights with my brother's girlfriends because they have put their hands on my brother.
See,
But
It was at that moment Cat chose violence.
no, it wasn't showing violence. They show violence when they hit my brother, and I was just helping them out.
see what I mean?
But sometimes things just happen that way. Now, did I get hurt in the process? No. But at the end of the day, that's my brother, and I'm gonna ride for my brother no matter what.
Ride from my
So
home.
that's the whole point of keep your goddamn hands to yourself because you never know who's coming for you.
Right. Absolutely.
And
That's why I
Shima,
get
you
this
are absolutely right. She says they beat the hell out of each other. He go to jail, she bail him out, and then they do it all over again. It's
cycle
sad,
continues.
and at some point, one of them have to come to their senses. And you do have people that have those toxic relationships,
Right.
and
That's
that
why I
is
just
absolutely true.
stay out of it. I just stay out of it.
Why can't women? This is Sean. Why can't women speak on it as well if we know it's an issue? If women spoke on things for the betterment of the culture versus just womanhood things may change. Just womanhood things may change. We know some women is bad with their mouths, very verbally abusive. Do women check the friends and family? Some glorify it, some think it's funny, it's normalized. Well, let's normalize checking that nonsense, checking our friends and family for speaking and acting abusive against men as well as women.
Well, that shoe
I
can
feel
go on
you
the
on
other
that.
foot, though. The shoe can go on the other foot too, though. It doesn't have to be just
I
one
mean,
side. It can be the other side.
it shouldn't be normalized that women are abusing men and women are physically, mentally, and according to statistics, sexually abusing a man. Um, I'm still
I don't know.
flabbergasted at the sexual abuse of a man.
That's the only iffy part. The sexual part piece. That's a little iffy for me. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah, I
all
was
the other
definitely
abuse,
flabbergasted at that one.
all that other
But
abuse, but
I get
sexually,
it. I
Right.
get it. If men saying that this woman forced me to have sex with her, then she forced them.
how? Listen, I
He
was
said it.
the only way you can be sexually
Doesn't make it not true.
the only way you can be sexually assaulted is if they gave you a hand job.
He ain't see Antoine. He ain't see Antoine Fisher.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. But
Because at some point in
I
time, you
totally
got stimulated. You were stimulated. Is a difference from where because we are the actual pokers. So
I mean, I totally agree with what Sean's statement said. What he said in his statement, holding people accountable. Like Sean holds me accountable all the time. He doesn't let me have. I don't get any excuses with him. But I totally agree. We do need to hold other women accountable for the things that we do instead of making a mockery of it or joking about it or helping with the abuse. Do think that we do need to hold each other accountable for the actions that people do against other people. And it probably
definitely,
would be better, make things better, and make people realize that what they are doing is absolutely wrong. It's not, it shouldn't be normalized. That part should never be normal. People putting their hands on people should not be normal. People disrespecting each other should not be normalized in a relationship or in any other way. This shouldn't be normal. Right? You know, sometimes it can also go back to what people see as children and how they grow up and what go on in their household, because then that may be normal for them. It could be 100 factors why women think it's okay to smack a man or talk down to a man or whatever. But our hour is up.
Hmm.
Ashana says, why is it if men can be sexually abused too? I know, but I was just shocked to actually see it was at such a high rate at that men were reporting that they were being sexually abused by women. So I don't know how men get it up without being sexually aroused. So I don't know how that goes. But I know that it does happen because it was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to misquote anything.
Guys, I am sorry, but I have to depart. But I want to leave you guys with this: domestic violence is real. If you can, if you feel like you're in a situation that you can't get out of, just do your best to get help. Kat had spoke about the resources that's available earlier. You just have to be strong and understand that in order to get help, you're gonna have to just be brave, and just step out on faith and just, you know, um, not be prideful. If that's, I don't know if that's a word, but don't be prideful. If you
What?
need help, seek out and receive it. You know, and I just hope that everybody have a good night and be safe. Much love to y'all, and I will talk to you guys later.
All right, Justin, take care, baby.
All right.
I can't remember the actual number off the top of my head right now. I just know it was a very high number of sexual abused men. And I want to say it was like 30% or 40% of men reported sexual abuse by their mate. So I was just like flabbergasted by it. But according to Derek, some way, somehow, men has to be sexually aroused in order to
I just want to understand. Like, listen, before anybody try to jump in the inbox or like, I have been sexually abused. I've been a product of it early in my life, so I understand that there are very certain cases, extreme cases, but other cases there still has to be some type of stimulation for you to get anything off. And that's why the the success rate of sexual abuse on men is so low off that token right there by itself, because you have to be sexually stimulated for most things to happen. And you can't say this person assaulted me against my will when you standing with your black power hand fist coming through your pants.
I get it. I do get it. And I understand it. But men are abused in all ways the same way as women are. which is why this is about men are victims too. It's not about us, it's about them. So, due to the fact that our hour is now up and we have to go bye-bye. I think this month is gonna be mostly about men, and more men. So so stay tuned. This is men's month for Candid Conversations. So we thank everybody for tuning in tonight and joining the conversation. We appreciate you all. Um, we'll see y'all next Tuesday, same time, same place. Hopefully we won't be late, Mr. Watson.
Right.
Love, peace, and blessings.
We're clear.
Yeah. Ooh.